Hey guys, it's Coach Winuvas here from the WFL. I'm kind of going through some historical archives, kind of just reiterating some concepts and things from the WFL from way past to present. And I want to talk a little bit today about. Let's see if I get this right. Nope, I'm not gonna get it right. This way. There we go. That right there, the podcast symbol, the Chiefsman's Corner. Note, I'm not obviously. I go by Winuvas online. My last name is not Chiefsman, just to let you know. So why do I call it Chiefsman's Corner? Well, I when I participate in leagues, I kind of go whole hog as far as content generation. I haven't been as good about it with this particular iteration because I've been busy with other stuff. But I've been doing a lot of these videos and podcasts and things of that nature. And Chiefsman is from a long time ago. It's actually from when I first started playing online on the PS3 when it first came over to consoles online franchise with Madden 10. As the first year I actually played an online franchise, and I played in a league called the Online Madden Football League, otherwise known as OMFL. A lot of you may be familiar with it. It is claimed to be the longest running online franchise in the world. I don't have any stake in that claim. I just know I started in 2010 when it moved over from the PC to the PS3, and I was helping my cousin who runs the OMFL, still does to this day. I was helping him. I was the co-commissioner for him, and I started as the Kansas City Chiefs, who were dreadful that year. I should have picked a better team. I didn't because I'm an idiot. We were also playing, I believe, that year on All Madden difficulty. So, way to jump in the deep end, Mr. Abear. Good job on you, Winuvas. Anyway, I was doing articles because we rewarded for content generation, and we were on a forum. I don't even remember the name of the forum, but it basically morphed into Operation Sports. It was not called Operation Sports at the time, though. I don't remember what it was called, but anyway. I did content and I did articles as a character that I basically stole as Adam Schefter, but obviously I wanted to tie into my team, the Kansas City Chiefs. And lo and behold, Adam Chiefsman was born. And that is the persona that you kind of see tied in with Chiefsman Corner. And I did podcasts even in Madden 10 and Madden 11. I would record a weekly podcast. It would be recorded. It would be voice only. It wouldn't be face. I wouldn't have to show my ugly mug. But I did recordings, and I basically did stats, kind of like what I do here, except I don't dive as much into stats as I used to, mainly because it takes forever in 3 days to set up and talk about stats and go through all the big stats of the day. And I just honestly don't have the time like I used to do that. I used to be able to delve for hours and be able to kind of pencil down statistics and have note cards and everything ready for me to go through a podcast. And I would also edit them as well. So I'd edit out all the ums and the uhs and the breaths that you hear whenever I'm doing this live or semi-live in this case. Because I don't do takes. I just go through it. I'm a one-take guy. I don't bother with editing much because editing myself sucks. Anyway, I used to do a weekly podcast, and I called it Chiefsman's Corner because I was basing it on the fact that Adam Schefter, at the time, who was a big NFL Network guy who moved over to ESPN at that point, it was a play on his name, and it was also a tie-in to my Chiefs persona, my Chiefs team. I did not ultimately stay with the Chiefs. I bounced around quite a bit in OMFL. It's sort of the reason why we have a rule in the WFL about bouncing around teams, because I call it the Winuvas rule. Because otherwise, I would bounce from team to team every time I got frustrated and lost a few games. And that's not right, and that's not fun. Anyway, so some of you that joke that you have a rule named after you, well, I created the rule named after me. So I said, nope, we're doing this, and it's going to be named after me, because I would do, if I didn't have this set in stone, I would do it. So yeah, if you see that, change once per Madden cycle, and you can change twice to their favorite team that's listed on my spreadsheet, yeah, that's the Winuvas rule. You're welcome. Yeah, so, but Chiefsman's Corner was a good thing. I enjoyed doing it. I did it for about a couple of months, and then when I changed teams, I don't even remember what team I changed to. Actually, I do. I changed to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I developed another persona there called Antoine Buckman, who I'll talk about in another historical archive video, kind of mentioning something I want to get back to doing, because I loved doing it, because I love the draft stuff. But anyway, Chiefsman's Corner was born there. I kept doing it even though I had a different persona, a different team. Chiefsman's Corner kind of stuck because it just kind of fits with the persona of, meet at the corner, we'll talk some games, and then we'll kind of depart. We'll come back, meet at the corner next week. So it kind of became this kind of thing. And when I picked back up in Madden 15, 16, 17, whatever Madden we started back up with WFL, whenever I broke away from Grown Folks, which was the name change that OMFL did when my cousin started back up. He basically left for a little while, came back, wanted to start back up his Madden League. Unfortunately, OMFL was taken by somebody else and was run by somebody else at that point. So he started with me. Grown Folks was what the name of it was. Grown Folks Madden League, GFML. He eventually got the rights to OMFL back, and now he runs OMFL again. But there was a time frame where he wasn't in there, and whenever I jumped on board for him to help him co-found Grown Folks, I helped him write a lot of the rules, and I also launched the podcast back up, and I called it Chiefsman's Corner in honor of that first character that I ever developed on that website forum many, many years ago. And the name just kind of stuck. So I kind of wanted to take a couple of minutes to explain why Chiefsman's Corner, because I don't really reference Adam Chiefsman anywhere else, except if you see me bounce on Twitter as far as do any Twitter follows or retweets or anything of that nature, which has been kind of lax this season from our guys as far as Twitter accounts go. But anytime you see me tweet or do a retweet of something, you'll see Adam Chiefsman's reporting on it. That's the webhook I put into it, and that's just kind of an homage to that first character I ever developed, which is based on Adam Schefter. In fact, his image looks like Adam Schefter. So that's the reasoning for it. I want to kind of explain that because if you're brand new, or even if you've been here a while, because I don't think any of the guys that helped me start WFL in 2015 or 16, I don't even think they were super familiar with what we were doing. So I think this is kind of a nice little setup and answer to that question of why Chiefsman's Corner. That's why. It's a name that I've used off and on for since 2009. So 13 years. Jesus, I played this game way too long. The realization on camera whenever you realize you've played something way too long. But I've been off and on for actually probably closer to about 11 years. I took a gap off between a good bit of 20 and 21. I was completely unplugged. But I wanted to explain why Chiefsman's Corner, why it's called the Chiefsman's Corner podcast. And it's, like I said, it's an homage to that first character. It's kind of some way I can kind of keep him in the fold a little bit and kind of keep him in memoriam, so to speak. I still like to use it. And I still like to write those articles and do those things. I'd use different pseudonyms for every team I play as. Currently, the few articles I've gotten to write as the Seahawks, I've written my pseudonym is Steve Kennedy, which if you're not familiar, I usually do a little research and kind of bake plays on stuff. Steve would be the first name of one of the Seahawks' best wide receivers probably ever, and a Hall of Famer, Steve Largent. And Kennedy comes from one of the best defensive prospects they ever produced, and a Hall of Famer in Cortez Kennedy. So that's where the name Steve Kennedy comes from. If you bother to read those articles, you'll see after the headline, you'll see by Steve Kennedy, blogger. Seattle Times, I think, is who I'm with. I usually also look up a local newspaper if there's one, and I'll basically make them a blogger for that particular newspaper. So just kind of a heads up on how I kind of operate. I like to do those kind of things. I like to have those plays on words and things of that nature because hopefully it provides a little extra flavor, especially if you know the background of it, and hopefully it provides a little extra entertainment and content that you enjoy, because that's ultimately what I'm about. If you watch the motto video I did, then you'll understand kind of how my mindset is around content. I think it's important because it helps keep the flavor of WFL alive and well, and it hopefully provides a little extra enjoyment on top of this game, which sometimes can provide us no enjoyment whatsoever, but hopefully the extra content can help provide some enjoyment. I really enjoy doing the podcast. I do miss doing them. As far as not having video on. It would be nice to get my ugly mug off the screen, but I mean, I could just do it without video, but it feels kind of disingenuous to do it without video at this point. Hopefully we can get to a point. I got to talk to some guys in chat about making sure we can actually have a live performance type setup where you guys can actually, instead of submitting questions through YouTube, you could actually call in on air, where we have the chat set up for Chiefsman's Corner. I got to figure out how to get that piped into these live broadcasts and hopefully not lag bad enough to where I lose connection completely. But I want to get to a point where we kind of have it like a live radio show, because I really want to get back to the third thing I'm going to talk about in this series of historical archives, and I think I'm going to use that as a teaser for it. So until next time, guys, I am Coach Winuvas, one of the leadership team and the commissioner here in the WFL. Hopefully you enjoyed this little look into why Chiefsman's Corner is called Chiefsman's Corner, and I will catch you later.